As an avid manga reader, reading a manga that can go on forever can be nice. Watching the protagonist and the characters around him grow as people can be a gratifying experience to say the least. But sometimes you want to change things up and see an ending, and watch the characters you've read about see the end of their journey and hopefully achieve their dreams. Some series may not have the best endings, and some may have an ending that have you wanting more. Nonetheless, the 5 series I'm about to talk about all end, and be it gratifying or not, these are all great series. This isn't a top 5 though, so there won't be any particular order, but these will be series you hopefully haven't read, and hopes you find a distraction for your afternoon, or just find something to keep in mind for later on. Plot-wise, I won't be going into too many spoilers, however, so you're not staring at nothing the whole time, we'll be playing art from each series' first 3 chapters or so. So if you want to go into the series completely spoiler-free, I recommend going to the description and using the titles from there. Also, all these series just so happen to be all school comedies. I didn't plan it out that way, it just kinda happened. And if that's it, let's get into it. Angel Densetsu, or Legend of Angel, is about Kitano Seichiro, a boy who you can describe to have a heart of gold and also be a demon at the same time. The reason? His face. Throughout the story, you watch Kitano make friends and create misunderstandings in his new school. Looking at the manga, you can see the art is a tad gross. This may be a turnoff, but as the manga progresses, you see the characters become more stylistically realistic, and even a bit cute. Character-wise, there are some that clash with Kitano's naiveness, creating misunderstandings talked about earlier, but there are also some that see through his facade and see him as an angel. Reading this series is fun, because you never know when a character may befriend Kitano or completely misunderstand him, leading to a one-sided rivalry. Speaking of Kitano, while yes, his face is less than pleasant, his actions are more than enough to make up for it. His inner monologues are funny as hell, and when he acts due to his lack of understanding, watching the other characters' faces are priceless. This is a fairly long series, at 84 chapters, with each chapter always being better than the last. I highly recommend the read, and if you end up really liking the art by the manga artist Yagi Norihiro, I also recommend the story Claymore, a much more popular series that is also completed. Bokura wa Minna Kawaisou, or the Kawaii Complex Guide to Manners and Hostile Behavior, is centered around the Kawaii apartment complex, a one-story co-op building that houses characters with odd personalities. These include a book freak, a masochist, a country bumpkin, a pervy ada-ada, and an old lady. Kusanari Usa, our main character, has recently moved out, which leads him to the complex, where his parents have rented out a room for him. The comedy revolves around these characters, who vary in age range, interacting, and getting into different levels of hijinks, with Usa chasing around his new crush, the book freak Kitsu Kawai. Romance-wise, Usa's the type of main character that you root for and get excited for when he succeeds in getting closer with Ritsu. I'm not gonna lie, the romance in this story is really good, and I put it on the same level as the comedy, both of them very strong. Art-wise, while the characters are well drawn, I think what really shines is the backgrounds. If they're in the common area, it feels like they're there, and same with any other room in the complex or place in the book. You're never confused where the characters are, and you really have a sense of space when you read this manga. Kawaii Complex is a bit long, with 94 chapters, but doesn't feel that way due to the amazingly written characters, not making it so it drags on, but instead making you want more. Even if you don't usually like romance, I'd say it and the comedy in this series is strong enough that you'll thoroughly enjoy every second of this manga. GTO, or Great Teacher Onizuka, is about the greatest teacher of all time, Eiichi Onizuka, a former delinquent. Driven by an experience of getting cockblocked by a high school teacher, Onizuka realizes if he were to become one, he could seduce one of his students and have a young bride. This leads to him accidentally becoming a middle school teacher instead, and not only that, he has to deal with the problem class at the school. This classroom blackmails every teacher they get, putting Onizuka on a path of becoming the greatest teacher. The art in this series doesn't really matter, because you'll really be reading it for the greatest teacher, Onizuka. As the kids in his new classroom do things to try to get him fired, Onizuka, no matter the kid, helps them out, even if they wronged him in the past. This is what makes him the greatest teacher of all time. Onizuka, in these scenarios, think of the kids first, and himself second. So even if the kid seems truly detestable, Onizuka, no matter what, will support them or try to help them. This in turn makes you support him and look forward to him being on the page. I'd go on record and say he's one of the best main characters of all time. Just the way you never expect what he might do, but no matter what he does, you cheer for him, makes him great. While this manga is 200 pages long, that just means you get more Onizuka, and that alone makes it more enjoyable. This next series could be hit or miss for you. The concept, at least for people that read manga or watch anime, can be difficult to grasp. making this series, while popular, yes, I'd only say to a certain demographic of manga and anime readers. But I hope you at least give it a shot, even if you really, really hate football. Eyeshield 21 is a story about high school football, sure, but it's also about finding a family of friends, overcoming hardships, and finding your own place in the world. While the comedy in the manga is great, sure, the most compelling thing is the growth of the characters. Senna Kobakawa, our protagonist, is a wimpy shuttle bus that's only use in middle school was to get food for his quote-unquote friends. I won't downplay him though. Many of the hypest moments in this manga are attributed to him. Speaking of hype, this series is one of the greatest in terms of it. You'll get so many goosebumps reading this series, it's insane. It also helps that the art is drawn by Yusuke Murata, the artist for the One Punch Man manga. He makes every scene feel alive and every character feel different. Even after going a year or so without reading the series, I could tell who every character was and what their gimmick was. And there's a lot of characters. As it's football, of course, the Daemon Devil Bats have a dream, and every team in the league stand in their way. This is compelling because you never know what team they'll go against, and even if you know the characters are playing, they often come back with more skills, just like our main characters. There are 333 chapters in Eyeshield 21, and to me, every single one of them is a part of a great ride I don't want you to miss out on. The next and final manga I recommend is the one I've read the latest and quite a strange one. I also won't be showing many photos of this manga as it isn't really for the faint of heart, and if you can't handle it at any point, I recommend closing the video and reading one of the other series I've recommended. Onani Master Kurosawa, or Masturbation Master Kurosawa, is, as the name implies, about masturbation, but not only does it have the strangest concept of all the manga I've recommended, it also has the shortest amount of chapters at 31. Why should you read it though? Or maybe why shouldn't you? Sure, it's funny, and by the end of it I'd go as far as to say it's heartwarming, but it's also disgusting and stomach-wrenching. It's even a tad fucked up at times. You may wonder why I say that, but if you were to read a bit into the manga, or even look at the later chapters, you'd see it gets dark at times. I completely understand if you were to drop it after the first chapter, but as someone who's read through it all, I'd also recommend powering through it, if only to see the final message. Kurosawa, our main character, is at times likable and sometimes hard to look at, but seeing his growth throughout the manga is both sad and, like I said before, heartwarming. So while it really isn't for everyone, I'd still say at least try to read Onani Master Kurosawa, even if just once. Thank you for watching. As this is the first video I've ever edited, I'd hope you leave a comment if there's anything you saw that I can improve on. Also, if you liked the video, I'd hope you leave a like and or subscribe. Knowing my effort was worth it would be nice. I hope you have a good day. Sayonara.